So one of the pieces of advice that you probably hear people get nowadays for grounding themselves and connecting to the present moment is meditate, right? Meditation is so in right now that universities are offering courses and even researching it at places like Stanford, Columbia, Cambridge, Oxford, and even Harvard. However, in my experience, most people are intimidated by the thought of meditation. There's this instant perception of associating meditation with a monk who has retreated away from society, left their life behind in order to quiet the mind. Meditation for me is not about stepping away or even making the mind quiet for that matter. It's more about rechanneling the power of the mind so that you can step even more fully into your life. There are so many styles of meditation, and what we will be practicing in this series can be placed in the category of guided visualization mixed in with some yogic breath work. And why are so many self-development professionals like life coaches and even athletic coaches, why are they using visualization to create long-lasting changes? Well, Srini Pillai, a professor of psychiatry at Harvard Medical, says that visualization and action are intimately connected because they both involve the motor cortex of the brain. So basically that means whether we are thinking about, let's say, our body walking down the street to go grocery shopping, or we are actually walking down the street to grocery shop, we're activating the motor cortex directly. A study looking at the brain patterns in weightlifters found that the patterns activated when a weightlifter is lifting 100 pounds were similarly activating the same part of the brain when they were only imagining lifting 100 pounds. Research has showed that mental practices are almost as effective as actual physical practice, and that doing both is more effective than just doing one or the other. Brain studies now reveal that thoughts produce the same mental instructions in the brain as actions do. Mental imagery through visualization impacts things like motor control, attention, perception, planning, and even memory. Now, this is very useful information if we are trying to get better at anything, whether it's physical fitness or mental emotional clarity in your life, with yourself, with the people in your life. So essentially what this means is that if you're trying to progress in your physical practice and perfect your form and technique, you need to be able to mentally commit to any movement without distraction, to deepen your practice and to grow. Hence, concentration being one of the key principles of any movement modality. And anything that gets in the way of that focus, like inner negative sabotaging thoughts that chatter away in your brain, that's going to keep you from upgrading the way that you move on the mat, but more importantly, how you move off the mat. Now, I used to be fraught with so much anxiety, which came from a very difficult childhood that bled into my young adult life and then into my adult life. So my parents, they were very physical with me, mentally and emotionally growing up, and also with my siblings. And sometimes they were really harsh and debilitating. I mean, they were refugees that fled from communist China, where they were in a time where land-owning families were persecuted as the black sheep. They were considered the enemies of the state. So my parents, they carry a lot of unprocessed trauma, and then you mix that in with raising kids in New York City, and their conservative views are being challenged with American ideals. That also got super confusing when I came out as a gay person. So life was very emotionally overwhelming for me. Now, I don't know what your upbringing was like, or I can't imagine like what your life is like right now. However, the one thing I do know for certain is that when we are ungrounded and we're not connected to the present moment, it's because we have in some way, whether consciously or unconsciously, allowed the expectations of someone else, be it a parent, a sibling, a friend, a boss, a coworker, whoever, we allowed them to challenge our sovereignty, our independence. Now, for a long time for me, it was juggling between the truth of who I really am and then trying to like satisfy this Chinese conservative ideal of what it means to be a good, straight Chinese son, right? Now, it may not even be something that you consider important because you've spent so many years juggling these themes for a while and you think, well, this is how it is, so I'll just deal with it. And yes, we are going to deal with it, but what if we deal with it in a way that is more holistic, more sustainable, and it actually feels good in the body? So today, we're going to get grounded. Now, to get grounded, it's not just this cognitive conceptual thought. It's an actual experience that involves the body, the mind, and the heart. Today, we are going to learn some yogic breath work coupled in with visualization so that you can use this time and time again and return to the present moment whenever you feel pulled by the thoughts and expectations of other people. So enjoy today's practice, and I will see you on the other side.